Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. It's Easter time and I've got my brand new apron on and I'm so excited. This time of year there's so many occasions, not only Easter, but so many things that we do in the springtime that warrant maybe let's dig out a recipe that we haven't tried in a while, or it's time to have friends over because the weather is getting nice, flowers are blooming. So I thought I was going to pull out my 3 all-time favorites that I did actually in season 1 of the VeryVera Show. So maybe some of you will remember, hopefully haven't changed too much, but we're going to do 3 of my all-time favorite recipes today. An asparagus roll-up that can be used as an appetizer or as a side to a salad or an entree. I'm going to do a Tollhouse pancake that actually takes me back to my early entertaining days as a young housewife. And then finally, I'm going to do a salad dressing that is my all-too standby, no doubt about it, the best salad dressing ever, and it lasts in the refrigerator for weeks and weeks. So let's get started on some of these favorites, and we'll begin with the asparagus. Before we came on the air, I went ahead and popped my asparagus. You know, if you just bend it, it's going to naturally break into place where the stem is a little tough. I put that into boiling water for 6 minutes just to get it nice and tender, and then immediately into an ice bath. Now, as you can see, it is a brightly colored green. It's ready to go, and I'm going to add to that a little cracked pepper, just to get those good and seasoned. And then the salt table has provided a really great German salt that I'm going to try on this today. You know, I've always just used my kosher salt, but I'm very excited about this German salt that I'm going to use on here today. Alrighty. So now we're going to take just plain white bread, and this is the John Durst brand that you can pick up at the fresh market, and you want to use a good soft bread that you can trim the crust very easily, and then we're going to actually roll it really flat with a rolling pin. And don't throw those crusts away, because you know that'll come in handy one day when you want to make some dressing. All right, so one piece at a time, you want to take your rolling pin and you're literally just going to roll that bread as flat as you can get it. Once you've done that, and here I go with my Hellmann's mayonnaise again, I'm going to just spread a little bit of Hellmann's all the way across it. And at this point, if you want to embellish the recipe with some of your favorite other seasonings, this would be the time to do it, because this is going to be the inside of the roll-up. All right, so now I'm going to take a piece of asparagus, and I'm just going to start at the back and just start rolling this up really tightly. So now I'm going to dip it in some melted butter. You just want to roll it. And I like to use my pie plates for this because you've got plenty of room. I'm going to go from the butter now to some freshly grated Parmesan. And if it doesn't stick as well as you'd like it to, you can just pick it up with your fingers. Now this is going to go to a sheet pan. And what happens now is that you're going to do these and you're going to place them in the freezer so that they can get very hard individually, so that when you're ready to use them, they can all go down into a Ziploc bag and you can just pull them out as you need to. So the ones that I've done ahead on this sheet tray have already been frozen. They were nice and easy to take out of that Ziploc bag, and those are the ones that I would like to use on like a side of a salad plate, because you've got part of the asparagus kind of hanging out. But on the ones like this, a 2-bite is the perfect size for an appetizer, or either just 1 bite, pop in your mouth. So these will be the perfect size for an appetizer choice. So I'm going to keep on making these roll-ups, and when we come back from the break, we're going to get started on a delicious Tollhouse pancake. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. And you know, Easter time is a great time to just get that kickstart going on what can you do fun during the spring when the weather gets nice and we can start going outside. So one of the things that's particularly nice about these recipes is that they all can be done ahead so that when your guests come over, you can enjoy them. I know for me, I've done some improvements on my back patio, so I'm looking forward to getting in the kitchen, getting all the cooking done so that when my guests and family come over, I can enjoy the outside. So during the break, we got the asparagus roll-ups in the oven. They're going to get nice and golden brown and crispy. And then I got the egg whites beaten very stiff for this Tollhouse pancake recipe. Now, some of you may remember, if you're thinking back to probably season 1 of the VeryVera show, this was one of my all-time favorite recipes. I remember vividly making this as a newlywed when I had dinner parties, and because it has such a delicate taste, it really is a wonderful recipe to use when you're entertaining. Like I said, it can be done ahead. So now that I've got the egg whites beaten, the 2 egg yolks are going to be the beginning of this delicious pancake recipe. So this is going to whip those together with a wire whisk. Then I'm going to add a little bit of soda and buttermilk. And these recipes are always available on our website at VeryVera.com. You know, I'm giving you this idea as a light supper or a dinner entree, but it also would be a great recipe for some of you dads out there that make pancakes with the children. You know, if you really want to have a great pancake, you need to do this recipe. All right, the other thing that's very important about the fact that these are Tollhouse pancakes is the incorporation of very light, fluffy, dry ingredients to this. So now that I've got all the liquid ingredients together, now I'm going to put the dry ingredients in through my sifter. So I've got flour, salt, baking soda, and a little bit of sugar. And I'm just going to let that go in, and you just see that lightness of that flour is part of what makes this recipe so great. Now I'm going to incorporate that, and then the last thing that we're going to do is the egg whites, because that's what makes these really fluff up when you're baking them. So I've got my griddle going over here, and you know the cookware that everybody talks about that I use on the VeryVera show is that Bialetti cookware. And this is their griddle, and I'm telling you, it is fabulous. Not only that, it looks really great on my counter, doesn't it? So I've got that turned on to 350 to get these going. All right, so we've incorporated this. And I did put a little light coating on there because it's new, but one of the features of that cookware is that you don't even have to spray it or use anything with it when you're cooking. So for those of you that are watching those calories, that becomes a very important aspect. All right, so now I'm going to fold the egg whites very delicately into this pancake batter. And you can already see the baking soda reacting here. The little bubbles are popping up. Between that and the fact that I've put these egg whites in a folding technique, you're going to have a very fluffy pancake. All right, my favorite instrument to use when I want to get the perfect pancake made is my 1/3 cup measuring cup. So I'm going to take my 1/3 cup, and you can take the side of it and just kind of get that shape that you're looking for. But these can be made as big as you want, but I like to put several on the plate, so I like to make them a little bit on the small side. And this is one of those times when, you know, you can get that young person in the kitchen with you because they can learn how to do the folding technique. I try to shy away from the griddle until they have at least gotten tall enough to get to the counter without any problem. So we're going to keep working on these pancakes. Oh, they're looking so good. They're fluffing up already. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to make the delicious filling and sauce that goes with these, and we'll start building them and putting them together. So come back with me in just a few minutes.
Ask Vera is brought to you by Georgia Bank and Trust and Southern Bank and Trust.
Sable Emerson in Augusta writes, how do you get stains out of white? Well, I've got several suggestions for you. You know, it never fails. We're all dressed up for church and then somebody gets a stain on their new white outfit. So let's act quickly, number one, and then keep all of your supplies that I'm going to recommend today handy where you keep all of your other cleaning supplies. For lipstick on that beautiful white napkin, I suggest water, a little bit of detergent, and then ammonia works really well on that stain. For wine, you want to use 2 parts detergent and 1 part peroxide. That is a miracle stain remover. For grass on those new white pants or shorts, you want to use rubbing alcohol, and again, just use that hand motion. And then if you're in a restaurant and you need something quick, ask the waiter for tonic water because that works really great in a pinch. And just remember, act quickly on that stain to make the most of those few minutes before it sets in. Sable, I hope that helped you with your question. And if you have a question for me, send it to askvera@wjbf.com. Wanted to remind everybody that the Aiken Civic Ballet is presenting Aladdin on Friday, April 1st and Saturday, April 2nd. For more information and tickets, visit aikencivicballet.com. Welcome back, everybody, and there's nothing like a white sauce, and it just is the cure-all for everything that has to do with the leftover. So while we were away during the break, I got that going with a little melted butter, some flour. I didn't put any salt in it just because there's plenty of salt going on in what we're doing today. Remember, I put that delicious German salt from the salt table on that asparagus, so we don't want to compromise that flavor that's going to come through on some of the other things that we're making today. So the white sauce is ready to go. It's a really nice creamy consistency, and now I'm going to separate it. I want half of it left in the pot, the other half of it I'm going to put in this bowl because that's going to become the mushroom sauce. All right. So now on the chicken, my main thing that I'm going to tell you here is that, believe it or not, I used to put my chicken in the pressure cooker and cook the chicken to do this recipe. Well, obviously a lot has changed in 30-something years. Now I just pick up that rotisserie chicken at the fresh market and just shred it. And it is the perfect thing to do for this particular recipe. And that shred really makes it easy to eat inside those pancakes. All right, so again, I'm not going to season that too much because we've got so many other seasonings going on. So now to the other half of the sauce, I'm going to add some sauteed button mushrooms, and I'm going to put enough cream in here just to give it a little bit of a smoother consistency than the filling, because this is just going to pour on top. So that looks pretty good right there. All righty. The pancakes turned out so well on that griddle, and if you don't, excuse me, if you don't have a griddle like that, you know, just a flat griddle that goes on top of the eye of the stove. Of course, all of us have cooked pancakes in cast iron skillets, but needless to say, if you're cooking for a crowd or you're wanting to get this done in advance, having a griddle is a great way to go. So the pancakes, I mean, honestly, they are so light and airy, and that flavor from the butter and the eggs and the way that we differentiated between the yolk and the white really makes this a really nice product. So I'm going to put a little bit of the chicken filling just right down the center of this pancake. You want to make sure you get plenty of the chicken in there. Now this is a little bit messy, so just be prepared that your hands are going to get a little messy when you're doing it. But you just want to roll this up, and temporarily you're going to hold it together with a toothpick. All right, so that was one of the bigger ones. The last one I wanted to use all of the batter. So now I'm going to just add a little bit more to this one. And here again, if you want to, if you're an onion lover, if you're a hot sauce lover, you know, whatever you want to add to this, you can do so. But one of the things that I love to say about this recipe is there's nothing more familiar and nothing more delicious than being able to taste every single component of what you've done here. As I said, the lightness of this pancake, the fact that the chicken and the white sauce is in the center, you're gonna get all those flavors when you put this together. So in terms of getting this done ahead, this is where all of this is done either that morning, the day before, and you're done. This is gonna go in an oven and it's just gonna bake and be ready to go when your guests are there, but you of course want to take the toothpicks out. So at this point, once I've got the whole pan done, I'm gonna take this sauce and you're just gonna pour it over the top right before it goes in the oven. And then you're gonna top that with a little bit of the Parmesan cheese. So in terms of why this recipe is one that I love to use, you know, you always have those people that gave you the recipes. We've talked about this many times, that you feel like you're almost in the kitchen with them when you do it. So I want to shout out to an Aunt Mary Francis that gave me this recipe, because she's with me today as I make this. So while we go to break, I'm going to finish getting these all rolled and in the pan, and when we come back, I'm going to give you another friend's recipe for a delicious salad dressing that's going to be your go-to for any type of salad that you make. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, and you know, those old-time recipes are still some of my all-time favorites, and I know you feel the same way about so many of the ones that are your favorites. But while we were away during the break, I finished rolling up the pancakes, got them smothered in that delicious creamy mushroom sauce, and then got them in the oven, and honestly, everything is baked and ready, so it's just a matter of getting them good and hot. Or this is the perfect time to use that warming drawer if you have one. So now let's get started on that salad dressing I've been bragging about during the whole show. Very simple ingredients, and again, the recipes are always on our website at VeryVera.com. But this uses Heinz chili sauce, and you're going to use an entire bottle of that. Now I'm putting in it grated onion, and it is important that you get that grater out and grate that onion. I've got a little bit of salt, sugar, cider vinegar, vegetable oil, or you can use canola oil. And then we've got pepper and paprika. All right, so I'm just going to whisk that together. And this is where if you've got a big jar that you can do this in and just shake, 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 shake it up. But this really lasts in the refrigerator for quite a bit of time. And it's just a nice, very summery and actually wintry. It depends on what you put on those greens. So I'm going to move it out of the way long enough to bring my salad plate over where I've got just some mixed greens. I'm going to add to that some sectioned red, ruby red grapefruit. You know, we get so into ruts with salads, so hopefully this is giving you some ideas. And then how about some slices of avocado? And now we're going to drizzle a little bit of that dressing on the top. And I'm telling you, it's fantastic. So that's ready to go. All right, now for our entree. And you know what? We're going to put one of our asparagus rolls on the side of that as a garnish. All right, so now our pancakes. Remember I said take those toothpicks out. So I'm going to get those out. And you know, you don't want to overdo the plate. So this is going to be a very simple 2 of these rolls. And this just shows off this china, and the china, of course, is from the cottage shop in Savannah. They had so much to pick from, I didn't even know which one to do. But you know, get a little crazy with your parsley. You can put that all over the plate, and then you've not crowded the beautiful china, and you've made something very attractive and wonderful. So that's going to be just a very simple supper. Those 2 things together could actually be plated on the same plate. But you know, as you go through and think about these older recipes, think about ways to enhance them. I know for me, I still like the traditional. It's like going to your favorite restaurant where you order the same thing every single time you go, and when it's consistent, it keeps you coming back. And that's what keeps me coming back to these recipes and not changing them out too much, is because it brings back old memories and things that I'm very fond of. You know, it is Easter time, and I know for me, I'm very excited about I've got older grandchildren that of course love to get the new clothes for Easter, but my younger grandchildren are going to have so much fun this weekend for Easter. The frame actually came from the cottage shop. So as I always say on the VeryVera show, no matter what you do it in good taste. And you know, I try not to talk with my mouth full, but I cannot wait to try these pancakes that I haven't had in quite a bit of time. So I hope as you celebrate with family and friends this weekend, you'll try some of these recipes on our website at VeryVera.com. And of course, come back and join me again next week for another episode of the VeryVera show.